At a career day event at his nephew Zach's middle school, billionaire Elon Musk unexpectedly finds himself challenged by a school bully to perform at the upcoming talent show. To everyone's astonishment, Elon agrees, leaving Zach horrified. Already struggling socially, Zach fears his famous uncle will embarrass himself and ruin Zach's fragile reputation. Unbeknownst to Zach, Elon has concealed a remarkable talent for decades. As the big night approaches, reporters gather, and the event moves to a larger venue to accommodate the growing crowd. The pressure mounts. Zach uncovers his uncle's secret ability, but doubts linger. Can Elon truly captivate an audience of students, parents, and news cameras with a skill long buried? And what mysterious promise from Elon's past is poised to ripple across the world? Now, please welcome our final guest speaker for Career Day, Mr. Elon Musk, Principal Donovan announced into the microphone, gesturing toward the stage. The middle school auditorium buzzed with excitement, whispers rippling through the crowd and fingers tapping furiously on phone screens as the renowned billionaire stepped into view. 12-year-old Zach Parker sank deeper into his seat, pulling his hoodie tighter over his face. While his peers hummed with anticipation, Zach wished he could vanish. Having a celebrity uncle should have been awesome, but today, it made him the unwilling center of attention. "Dude, your uncle's actually here," Mason whispered, nudging Zach in the ribs. "Why didn't you tell us he was coming?" "I didn't know," Zach mumbled, which was the truth. His mom had mentioned Uncle Elon might drop by for dinner sometime that week while in town to inspect his new factory, but showing up at Career Day was a complete surprise. Uncle Elon strode onto the stage in his usual casual attire, dark jeans and a plain black t-shirt, looking more like an ordinary guy than someone who builds rockets and electric cars. He shook Principal Donovan's hand and took the microphone. "Thanks for having me," he said with a faint smile. "I heard my nephew attends this school, and I thought it'd be fun to stop by." Hundreds of heads swiveled toward Zach, whose face burned hotter than one of his uncle's rocket engines. For the next 20 minutes, Uncle Elon spoke about his companies and fielded questions on space travel, electric vehicles, and what it's like to be among the world's richest people. Most questions were standard, but then Principal Donovan pointed to a raised hand belonging to Theo Winters. Zach's stomach nodded. Theo, the 8th grade class president, basketball star, and the school's biggest braggart, always found new ways to make Zach's life miserable. "Yes, you in the blue shirt," Uncle Elon said, nodding at Theo. Theo stood with a smug grin. "Mr. Musk, everyone knows you're great at tech and business, but I'm curious, is there something you're actually bad at?" A few giggles echoed through the auditorium. Principal Donovan frowned, reaching for the microphone, but Uncle Elon waved her off. "That's a fair question," he said thoughtfully. "I'm terrible at a lot of things. I can't draw well, I struggle to remember people's names, and despite growing up in South Africa, I was never good at cricket." The students laughed, but Theo wasn't done. "So you're saying you can't do things regular people do?" he pressed. "I bet you wouldn't last 5 minutes at our school talent show next week." The room fell silent. Principal Donovan stepped forward, her face flushed with embarrassment. "Theo, that's enough. Mr. Musk is our guest, and..." "No, it's fine," Uncle Elon interrupted, a curious glint in his eyes. "Tell me about this talent show." Principal Donovan cleared her throat. "It's our annual spring talent show. Students perform, and the winner gets a small scholarship for further studies." "And you think I couldn't last 5 minutes?" Uncle Elon asked, locking eyes with Theo. Zach wanted to disappear through the floor. Was his uncle really arguing with an 8th grader? Theo grinned wider. "No offense, sir, but tech billionaires aren't exactly known for stage presence. Unless you're hiding some incredible talent, it might be a bit awkward." A few teachers gasped. And several students turned to Zach, their faces a mix of shock and delight. Uncle Elon paused for a moment. Then, to everyone's disbelief, he smiled, not his usual camera-ready smirk, but a genuine, mischievous grin Zach had only seen when his uncle was up to something big. "You know what? You're right, stepping out of our comfort zones is tough, Uncle Elon said. Challenge accepted. I'll perform at your talent show. The auditorium erupted in chaos. Students leapt to their feet, phones raised to capture the moment. Principal Donovan looked like she might faint. And Zach? Zach felt the world ending. As the uproar continued, Uncle Elon descended the stage and made his way to the exit, pausing at Zach's row. Surprise, he said with a wink. Looks like I'll be sticking around a few days. Dinner at your place tonight? Zach could only nod, too stunned to speak. As his uncle left, Theo called across the room, better start practicing, Mr. Musk. The talent show's on Friday. The final bell rang 10 minutes later, but instead of rushing to the buses as usual, everyone swarmed Zach. Is your uncle really doing this? What's his talent going to be? Can you get me his autograph? Zach pushed through the crowd, desperate to escape. He nearly reached the door when a hand gripped his shoulder. Turning, he saw Theo, flanked by his usual posse. Your uncle's got guts taking my challenge, Theo said, his smile not reaching his eyes. But you might want to warn him. My dad's bringing a reporter friend from the local news. It'd be a shame if the famous Elon Musk made a fool of himself on camera, right? Zach pulled away. He's not going to make a fool of himself. Really? Theo raised an eyebrow. What's his talent then? Building tiny rockets? Dancing with robots? Or maybe he'll just stand on stage counting his money? Theo's friend snickered. Zach's hands clenched into fists. You don't know anything about my uncle, he said, trying to keep his voice steady. And apparently, neither do you, Theo shot back. Otherwise, you wouldn't look so terrified right now. Before Zach could reply, Mason appeared beside him. Bus leaves in a minute, Zach. We gotta go. Grateful for the rescue, Zach hurried out of the building with Mason. They barely made it onto the bus as the doors closed. Your uncle's the coolest person ever, Mason said as they found seats in the back. I can't believe he's doing the talent show. What do you think he'll do? I have no idea, Zach admitted. And that was exactly what worried him. When the bus dropped him off at home, Zach was surprised to see his uncle's sleek electric car already parked in the driveway. He trudged up the steps, dreading the conversation ahead. Inside, he found his mom and Uncle Elon at the kitchen table, deep in discussion. They both looked up as he entered. There he is, Uncle Elon said cheerfully. The reason I'm about to debut at a middle school talent show. Zach's mom laughed. I still can't believe you agreed to this, Elon. You know those kids can be harsh judges. That's what makes it fun, Uncle Elon replied, sipping from a coffee mug. The higher the stakes, the better the challenge. This isn't fun, Zach burst out, dropping his backpack on the floor. It's going to be a disaster. His mom and uncle exchanged a glance. Zach, honey, what's wrong? His mom asked. I thought you'd be excited. Excited about what? Watching Uncle Elon get laughed at by the whole school. Theo set this up, Mom. It was a joke. He wants Uncle Elon to fail so everyone can laugh at him, and me. Uncle Elon leaned forward, his expression turning serious. Is that what you're worried about? That I'll embarrass you? Zach stared at his shoes, unable to meet his uncle's gaze. You don't get it. Theo already makes my life at school miserable, and now he's bringing a reporter to watch everything. A reporter? His mom frowned. Elon, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Uncle Elon was quiet for a moment. Then he stood and approached Zach, placing a hand on his shoulder. Zach, look at me, he said gently. Zach reluctantly lifted his eyes. Do you know the biggest mistake people make? Uncle Elon asked. They assume they know what others are capable of. They box people in and never expect to be surprised. A small, enigmatic smile played on his uncle's lips. This Theo thinks he knows what I can and can't do. He's in for a shock. But what are you going to do? Zach asked. The talent show's in 3 days. Uncle Elon's smile widened. That's for me to know and you to find out. But I promise you this, whatever happens on that stage, you won't be ashamed. Trust me. Zach wanted to believe him. But as he watched his uncle return to the table, casually chatting with his mom about the new factory, the knot in his stomach only tightened. The truth was, Zach had no idea what talents his famous uncle might be hiding, or if he had any stage-worthy skills at all. All he knew was that in 3 days, either Theo Winters would be proven right, or Uncle Elon would deliver the surprise of a lifetime. Zach wasn't sure which possibility scared him more. That night, Zach couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned, Theo's smug face and his uncle's cryptic confidence replaying in his mind. Around midnight, he went downstairs for a glass of water and noticed light still spilling from under the guest room door. Hesitating, Zach knocked softly. "Come in," Uncle Elon called. Zach pushed the door open to find his uncle sitting cross-legged on the bed, surrounded by papers covered in scribbles and notes, a laptop glowing nearby. "Can't sleep?" Uncle Elon asked, gathering some papers. "No," Zach admitted. "I keep thinking about the talent show." Uncle Elon patted the edge of the bed. "Sit. Let's talk." Zach sat nervously on the corner of the mattress. "I think you should back out," he mumbled. "Tell them you have an emergency at one of your companies or something." Uncle Elon raised an eyebrow. "You want me to lie?" "Not exactly lie. Just," Zach struggled for the right words. "You don't understand what Theo's like. He set this up to make you look bad." "And what if he did?" Uncle Elon asked calmly. "What if he did?" Zach stared at his uncle. "You don't care if people laugh at you?" Uncle Elon folded his hands in his lap. "Zach, do you know how many people laughed at the idea of reusable rockets, or electric cars that could outperform gas ones, or tunnels under cities to solve traffic problems?" Zach shrugged. "Probably a lot. More than a lot. Experts, investors, other companies, they all said my ideas were impossible or foolish." Uncle Elon's voice was quiet but firm. "If I'd worried about looking foolish, none of those things would exist today." "But this is different," Zach protested. "Those things you're good at. This is a talent show." Uncle Elon reached for his wallet on the nightstand and pulled something out, a worn, faded photograph. He looked at it for a moment, his expression softening, then tucked it away before Zach could see what it was. "There was a time when I wasn't good at those things either," he said. "We all start somewhere, usually not very good at something. Over time, we master it." Zach picked at a loose thread on the blanket. "But you've only got 3 days." A faint smile tugged at Uncle Elon's mouth. "Maybe that's all I need." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Uncle Elon leaned forward. "Let me tell you a story I don't often share," he said. "When I was a bit younger than you, growing up in South Africa, I got interested in something other kids thought was uncool. They teased me endlessly about it." "What was it?" Zach asked. Uncle Elon shook his head. "It doesn't matter now. What matters is what my mom told me when I came home crying one day. She said, 'Elon, the fear of looking foolish is just the fear of other people's opinions, and other people's opinions are the heaviest burden you can let yourself carry.'" He stood and walked to the window, gazing at the dark neighborhood. "I almost gave up that interest because I was afraid of being laughed at. But I kept it, and eventually, those same skills became incredibly valuable to me." Turning back to Zach, he continued, "I'm not backing out of the talent show, not because I need to prove something to this Theo kid, but because it's a chance to show you something important about life." "What's that?" Zach asked. "That bravery isn't about not being afraid. It's about being afraid and doing it anyway." Uncle Elon sat back on the bed. "So yes, I'm doing the talent show, and I need your help. Zach blinked in surprise. My help? With what? I need to practice, and I could use an honest audience, Uncle Elon said, his eyes twinkling. Plus, you know the school better than I do. You can tell me what works and what doesn't. A mix of emotions swirled in Zach's chest, worry, curiosity, and a small, growing spark of excitement. You're really going to do this, aren't you? I really am. Uncle Elon gave Zach a serious look. The question is, are you with me or against me? Zach hesitated. The rational part of him still screamed that this was a terrible idea. But another part, the one that had always secretly admired his uncle's boldness, whispered that maybe, just maybe, Uncle Elon had something up his sleeve. Fine, Zach said at last. I'll help you. But don't blame me when Theo and his friends start posting videos of everything online. Uncle Elon laughed. Deal. He reached for his laptop and closed it. Now go to bed. We'll start tomorrow after school. The next morning at breakfast, Zach's mom eyed them both suspiciously as Uncle Elon sipped a strange-smelling tea with honey. What exactly are you planning for this talent show? She asked. Uncle Elon and Zach exchanged a look. It's a surprise, they said in unison. At school, news of Elon Musk performing at the talent show spread like wildfire. Teachers Zach had never spoken to stopped him in the halls to ask if it was true. By lunch, rumors swirled that celebrities might attend to watch. Did you know the principal's selling extra tickets? Mason asked, sliding his lunch tray next to Zach's. They moved the show to the high school auditorium because so many people want to come. Zach nearly choked on his milk. The high school? That place holds like 1,000 people. I know, it's gonna be huge, Mason said, wide-eyed. So come on, tell me, what's your uncle going to do? I don't know, Zach lied, poking at his cafeteria pizza. You're a terrible liar, Parker, Theo's voice cut in from behind. He sat across from Zach, uninvited. But it doesn't matter. Whatever your uncle's planning, it won't be enough. Why do you even care? Zach asked, a sudden surge of bravery rising. What did my uncle ever do to you? Theo leaned forward. People like your uncle think they can do anything just because they're rich and famous. I just want him to know he can't. With that, Theo stood and walked away, leaving Zach staring after him. That afternoon, as promised, Uncle Elon was waiting when Zach returned from school. The guest room door was closed, a small handwritten note taped to it, rehearsal in progress, enter at your own risk. Zach took a deep breath and knocked. Come in, Uncle Elon's voice called, and brace yourself for a surprise. Zach pushed the door open and stepped into the guest room. He wasn't sure what he expected to find, a guitar, a magic kit, or even a tiny rocket. But the room looked surprisingly normal. Uncle Elon stood in the center, holding a tablet and a glass of water. Close the door, he said, glancing at his watch. We don't have much time. Zach shut the door behind him. Time for what? What are you doing for the talent show? Uncle Elon set the tablet on the dresser. First, promise me something. What happens in this room stays between us until the show. Don't tell your friends, your mom, or anyone else. Got it? Got it, Zach agreed, his curiosity now outweighing his anxiety. Good. Uncle Elon took a sip of water. From what I gather, talent shows usually involve students playing instruments, dancing, or doing magic tricks, right? Zach nodded. Yeah, mostly. Last year, someone did a science experiment that made the gym smell like rotten eggs for a week. Uncle Elon chuckled. Well, I won't be doing that. He pulled a chair to the center of the room. Sit. I want your honest opinion. Zach sat, his leg bouncing nervously. Opinion on what? Instead of answering, Uncle Elon tapped the tablet. Soft music began to play, something Zach didn't recognize, with strings and a gentle, steady rhythm. Uncle Elon closed his eyes for a moment. Took a deep breath, and then nothing could have prepared Zach for what followed. His uncle, the famous tech billionaire known for rockets and electric cars, opened his mouth and began to sing. The voice was deep and resonant, the words flowing in a language Zach didn't understand, rich with clicks and tones he'd never heard. But more astonishing than the foreign language was the voice itself. Uncle Elon's singing was beautiful, truly beautiful. Deep and warm, with a slight roughness that somehow made it more real, more emotional. It filled the small guest room entirely. When the verse ended, Uncle Elon stopped, the music playing softly in the background. He looked at Zach expectantly. "Well?" he asked. Zach realized his mouth was open and quickly shut it. "You can sing." "Looks like it," Uncle Elon said with a faint smile. "The question is it good enough for your talent show?" "Good enough?" Zach stood, gesturing wildly. "Uncle Elon, that was incredible. Where did you learn to sing like that? What language was that? Why didn't you ever tell anyone you could sing?" Uncle Elon raised a hand to stop Zach's flood of questions. "One at a time, yes, I can sing, and I used to sing a lot when I was younger. The song is in Xhosa, one of the languages spoken in South Africa where I grew up. And I haven't told anyone because," he paused, searching for the right words. "There are some things you keep just for yourself." Zach couldn't believe it. His uncle, a man constantly in the spotlight whose every tweet made headlines, had a hidden talent no one knew about. "But why reveal it now?" Zach asked. "You could have just done something simple for the talent show, like a science demo or something." Uncle Elon walked to the window, his back to Zach. "Because sometimes, Zach, the things we're most afraid to share are the ones we most need to give." He turned, his eyes more serious than Zach had ever seen. "I've spent my whole adult life being the tech guy, the businessman, the Mars guy. And that's fine, I love those things. But there was a time when music was just as important to me." He tapped his pocket, where Zach suspected the mysterious photo was kept. "I've hidden that part of myself for too long." Pride swelled in Zach's chest. His uncle wasn't doing this just to prove a point or impress a bunch of school kids. He was doing something brave, something authentic. "So the talent show," Zach started, "is the perfect opportunity," Uncle Elon finished. "Low stakes, relatively speaking, not a global broadcast or a shareholder meeting, just a school auditorium full of kids and parents. And a local news reporter," Zach reminded him. Uncle Elon waved a hand dismissively. "One small step for a billionaire. One giant leap for his image," Zach added. They both laughed, and the tension that had been building since career day finally began to ease. "Okay," Zach said, feeling excited for the first time. "How can I help?" For the next hour, Uncle Elon rehearsed the song while Zach watched, offering suggestions on where to stand and how to move. Uncle Elon explained he'd performed 2 songs, the first in Xhosa, a traditional folk song his nanny taught him as a child, and the second in English, which he wouldn't yet reveal. "But how will people understand the first song if it's not in English?" Zach asked. "Music doesn't always need words to be understood," Uncle Elon replied. "Sometimes the feeling is enough." As they wrapped up practice, Zach felt a new worry creep in. "Uncle Elon, what if people don't get it? What if they expect something techie from you, and instead you sing a song in a language they don't know?" Uncle Elon squeezed Zach's shoulder. "Then they'll learn something new about expectations, won't they? Just like you did today." The next morning at school, Zach found himself walking with a lighter step. He still couldn't believe his uncle's hidden talent. This concludes our narrative journey. I trust you found this gripping saga of intrigue, cutting-edge innovation, and astonishing discoveries captivating. From where are you tuning in today? I'm curious to learn which corner of the globe this tale has touched. If this escapade held your interest, Please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for a steady stream of compelling, mind-expanding stories just like this one. Fresh material is posted frequently, ensuring you're always in the loop for the newest spellbinding adventures. Be sure to pass this video along to your loved ones and friends. It's a great way to share positivity and insight while expanding our circle of story enthusiasts. Your encouragement is invaluable. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to welcoming you back for the next tale.